Hey y'all, it's Michaela here with another video. Today we're gonna learn about cameras, okay? Today is about cameras. What about cameras? You already know about cameras. There's cameras outside. There's cameras on your phone. There's cameras in your mind if you have a photographic memory. What about cameras? Today I'm gonna teach you on how to use a DSLR. What does it stand for? I don't know. Okay, I found out. It stands for Digital Single Lens Reflex Camera, and that is basically a Boujee camera. I'm gonna teach you how to use a Boujee camera, how I use a Boujee camera, because it makes your photos to look pretty. Here's my Boujee camera. This is the Canon T3i camera. It is a Canon Rebel, like me, so that's why I like it. I'm also cheating because this is not the lens that came with the camera, the kit lens. That is lost in Europe forever, long story. But this camera has this is a portrait fixed lens. I'm probably making all these up right now. It's a fixed lens, which means that it does not zoom when you rotate it. Like, uh-oh, is she a photographer? Yes, she is, because she's pulling out her other lens. Wow! Yeah, so this one is not a fixed lens. This one can go wherever it wants. It can go forward, up, down, upside down, and really far. This one's a really far one. I never use it. Okay, cool. I like this lens a lot because it can make your pictures look really good, like you've been doing it for a cajillion million years. Another reason that I really like this camera is because it's got the lens that you can do these things with. Because if you want to look at yourself, it's super cool. And then if you really don't want to and you want to show people, it's pretty nice. Also, it's got a lot of fun buttons up here. Ooh, okay, all right. I'm gonna turn this camera around and we are gonna learn today. The way that you take off the lens cap, you just squeeze and move to the side. At the top here, we've got the on-off switch. We've got the toggle button that goes between your settings. This is the camera button that you click to capture the photo. This is the level of photographer you are. So if you're a noob, you'd start somewhere around here, maybe one of these. But after watching this, I hope you're a master, which is what M stands for. This is what you will see on your screen. So let's do the shutter speed first. The shutter speed is how fast the camera captures. If you have a fraction like this, it's going to be super quick, and this would be perfect for a really bright light outside. And then if you have a little bit of a larger fraction like this one, then you've got a little bit more light to let in. Typically, you don't want to go any less than 180 if you could really help it. You'd rather have 1/100th, because then you start shaking and then it gets blurry. Let's talk about the aperture. So the aperture is how wide the lens is. This is going to determine also how much light is in there and the blurriness of the background. To think about a real life example, say you're in the bar. You're in the bar. You're looking for hotties. When you're looking for hotties and you first walk in, you gotta squint. You gotta squint to see them. You're wishing there's more light, so you're making your aperture very small because you are squinting and trying to see them, and there's not a lot of light, so you can't see their chiseled jaws and your hair. When the hotties come up to you, then your eyeballs change. Your eyeballs get wide. The whole world melts away because your eyeballs get wide. But when your eyeballs get wide, you let more light in, which sometimes can be a problem because you do see their hair very clearly and you wish you had less light. So the way we measure aperture is also with the f-stop. The f-stop is a little bit confusing, but just stay with me. Okay, here we go. So f-stop, f2, like two of you, you and the hottie in front of you, right here, that is a wide aperture. F2, the two of you, the whole world will melt away. Now the other end, F22, stands for F22 hotties. You're looking for in the bar, so that is a smaller aperture so that you can see every single one of them out there. So F22 is a small aperture, F2 is a large aperture for you and your local hottie. I made a little graphic so it would be easier for us to understand. So this is a shutter speed. The longer one is on this side, this is a shorter one, and then your f-stop and your aperture. So your aperture, you want a big aperture, which means you're gonna have an f.2, just the two of you, versus a small aperture, which is f22, 22 of you. So you're in the bar. It's darker. You need more time to see all the hotties. When you're looking for the hotties, you gotta squint for the 22 hotties, f22, and a small aperture. So that's how you find hotties far away in the bar. When one of them gets the guts to come walk up to you, it's darker, so you still need the light, so you still need the longer time, but you gotta open your eyes because you need a bigger aperture to see close, and then you have the f2.0. So that's the one hottie talking up close in the bar. Then you go to the gym and you're just still on the prowl. So you're on the prowl for all the hotties, but gyms are lit better sometimes. So when you have more light, it's a faster shutter speed. Boom, 1/4000. But you're still looking around, see which machines are being used by which hotties. And so you're gonna need an f22 to look for the 22 hotties, but a small aperture. So that is for hotties on all the machines in the lit gym. Finally, one of them comes up to you because you're doing something wrong, or they just don't know that you know what you're doing. And then they try to talk to you, and you're like, all right, you're cute, so I'll talk to you. So they come up close, you open your eyes at them, and it's just the two of you, f2, with a bigger aperture and a short shutter speed. And that is for the one hottie talking to you in the lit gym about your form. So that is how you can remember that. Now that you know how to use a camera, it's time to get started. But before we go, I want to talk about what you should wear. If you go out and you take pictures of things in normal clothes, you are gonna take some bad photos. They're just gonna be trash. If you go out and you are dressed like a hipster, you can't make trash. You make art. So draw on some tattoos, roll up your pants, and let's get started. Here I am looking like a hipster taking a picture of my friend Chidera. She's a hottie, so we're gonna be using an aperture with an f-stop of 1.8, which makes the background more blurry and the focus is more on her. In order to compensate for the large aperture, we're gonna use a shutter speed of 1/4000th, which means that there's gonna be less light let in because it's gonna be faster. After taking a few photos, you get a little bit hungry, so you kind of want to look around and see what there is. You might be able to see some girls in the background. This aperture is an f-stop of 5.6. It makes the background come a little bit more into focus, but you're still focusing on the subject. Since the aperture is smaller now, you're going to need a little bit more light, so your shutter speed is still fast at this point at 1/1000th, but it's slow enough that you have enough light. At this point, you're starving and you really just want to go to the grill, but you don't want to be rude. So for this image, we use an aperture of f-stop 22. That makes the background and the foreground both come into focus pretty well, but the aperture gets so small that you have to use a shutter speed of 1/160th or something even longer than that to compensate for the light. I was still pretty hungry, but I decided to take photos of my friend just because she was such a good subject with me. The other key about being a photographer is just really make sure that you go up and down and you just get in all these weird positions so that you can get all these different kinds of angles. And that is how you use a DSLR camera to take photos. You can use them to take beautiful pictures for your Facebook, your Instagram, real life, maybe a photo album? Huh? Now that you have seen the proper way to use a nice camera, this is how not to use a camera. Power. Okay, now kiss. No, kiss, I promise. It'll be cute. Come on, just a little bit. Yeah, just kiss.
Hi!
Here for your photo shoot.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, here, just take that. There's a self-timer and you should be good.
Wait, what? Excuse me?
what it is.
Put that arm out. Yes. So cute. Move and move. Smile. Frown. Frown again. Frown harder. Frown harder. Smile. Smile.
Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. I hope you might have learned something, maybe, perhaps, who knows, I don't know. Hopefully you do. If you could just like, subscribe, leave your girl a comment of support. Let me know if you learned something or if you are learning anything. And tune back in next week to see something else that you definitely probably need to learn to do. Okay, all right, thanks, bye!